Guys, I thought I'd show you how beautiful. Today I'll do it by the ocean. It's only like 40 feet away. You can see that's where we jump to swim. Because it's really beautiful here. To talk about the interview. This is my answer to the sugars who wrote extensively to me, telling me, there, you see? Meghan was right. This is after the interview, of course. This is all for entertainment. These are all my thoughts and opinions, and do your own research, okay? And be nice in the comments. Well, I'm gonna put things a little bit into perspective. If you went to my Twitter account, you saw what I posted about the ratings. Yesterday ratings in the US, and these are like actual ratings, like this is, for example, when this interview aired, this is the amount of households that actually sat down to watch it. Okay, like the interview was on, they were watching it live or whatever, the first time. It was a little bit over 300,000 households. That's it. And this is in spite of all of Meghan's, in spite of all of Oprah's PR and all kinds of crazy things. Oprah's ratings as of February 28th, 2021, the average people who watched Oprah were 142,000. That's it. In December and January, it went as low as 50,000 households. That's it. From the millions she used to enjoy, it's completely down. So Oprah was hoping that this interview would spike the ratings. The problem that she has is that those are tainted goods. And only 330,000 households got to watch it. Less than. Now, what she's doing right now is she has asked all her pals, celebrity pals, most of them have refused, to drum up positive reviews. This is why we have Serena Williams giving her undying support for Meghan Markle and the racism Meghan Markle had to endure. Blah, 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 blah. Because she wants to do a rerun, the special, hoping that because the ratings were so low, she hoped that at least she would get at least almost 1 million. But the ratings are so low and she's getting so much that she's thinking of re-airing the show in a later date after all this thing. The problem that Oprah has is that even after a certain amount of time, it's actually going to be worse because Meghan Markle's lies are going to be exposed. And even though the United States people do love a good controversy, but they like controversy of people they know. They don't know who Meghan Markle is. They don't know who Harry is. And one thing that the U.S. people don't like is an opportunist. I think that's. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So I'm gonna give you guys, before I start with this, I'm answering this because I got. Whoa! I woke up to. You have no idea. I stopped counting. I stopped even looking at them for a while. How their queen Meghan Markle had done that. Blah blah blah. Okay. I don't know if you guys are aware that there's a movie by Matthew McConaughey. It's actually quite a very good movie, where he's a defense lawyer. I think it's Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Matthew McConaughey. Where a black little girl in the South was raped by, I think, 4 guys, or 3 or 4 guys, beaten, peed on, spat, and thrown away in a sewage when they were done with her. The people in the South were really upset, and there were, the white people were angry because he was trying to convict this 4 white men against this just little girl, right? So the beautiful thing of this movie is at the end, when Matthew McConaughey is going to give his summary, with the juror, he asked the jurors to please close their eyes while he narrates a story. And then beautiful, because Matthew McConaughey has an amazing voice. I love him. Anyways, that's neither there nor here. Anyways, he proceeds to tell in very graphic detail how these 4 men grabbed this beautiful little girl who was walking to the school. He says, close your eyes and I'm going to tell you a story. And he starts narrating the story about this beautiful little girl. Imagine a little girl that's walking down the road. She's going to school, dressed in her best, or I don't know if she was going to church or whatever. Dressed in her best Sunday dress. And she's walking there and 4 men stopped on the side, pulled her, beat her, raped her. Well, he describes everything. And he goes, it's terrible, right? And then he says, now imagine her white. Immediately, of course, people, what he was describing, it was describing somebody without color. It was just a little girl, right? No, sorry. And then he says, imagine her white. Because the outrage, people were not outraged because he was prosecuting 4 white men. So it was really pretty powerful thing that he said, he described all of these abuses that this little girl got. And then he said, imagine the little girl white. Of course, people were, how can he do that, right? Okay. It applies here in reverse to Meghan Markle. And I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. I'm sorry, just laughing. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and imagine a woman who has lied, cheated, slandered, abused, exploited people in her wake to the point of nervous breakdown. She has lied. When you say somebody has lied, they have lied. And is swindling people out of millions, while at the same time slandering an entire nation. Imagine her biracial, a white-skinned biracial woman. When you lie, it's a mouth that is lying. It's an individual that is lying. It's not a skin color. When you cheat, it's not a skin color that does it. It's a person. When you commit fraud, it's a person who does it, not a skin color. The point that I'm trying to make is that Meghan Markle is abusing she's trying to blackmail not only the royal family, but the entire UK through blackmail. Yeah, she's blackmailing, abusing the race card and exploiting a child, exploiting her links to a child in order for her to secure a social status and financial security. I don't know if I said this correctly or if I'm understood. Of course I didn't watch it, but I did get sent a snippet of this. And I think this is summarized brilliantly when she herself said that the reason why she didn't allow any pictures of her son or any information of her son to be given to the UK is because her son did not get a prince title. So it was, if you don't give me what I want, I won't do what I'm asked. So she wanted, that's plain blackmail. She wanted her kid. And now things are starting to make sense, you know what I mean? When she ordered in her passport to have it changed to Her Royal Highness, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Because she wants to ensure, whichever way she can, that she has a title, that she remains ranked. And she is trying to say that she's doing it for the safety of her kid and her husband, who chose to leave the country. That is a bold-faced lie. She wanted another letters patent to be made, just like Prince William's children's had, that they were made prince and princesses and their royal highnesses, because the letters patent of 1917 stated that the great grandchildren of the monarch would not get prince titles nor HRH, because they wanted to slim down the monarchy. So Her Majesty the Queen issued specific letters, is patent that is pronounced apparently, for Prince William's children. So Meghan Markle wanted her kids to also be prince and princesses. Sorry, guys. So this is where her beef is at. This is, I remember when I always tell you perspective is everything in life? It is. She wants to be ranked. And we're going to talk about what lies are and what slander is. Lies are lies. Slander is different. Slander has legal consequences. I urge the press to focus not on race, which is what she wants to do. She wants to turn this into a racial debate, which is not. This is about a woman. I want them to use, I know I'm very small channel, but they should turn the narrative on her abusing the race card to get what she wants, which is a criminal offense. I'm going to tell you something very quickly. That is slander. What she's doing right now is slander and abusing the race card, which has criminal consequences in the UK. You can see that I have a very dark skin. I am mixed race. My grandfather was from Yugoslavia on my father's side, from when Yugoslavia existed. My grandfather and my grandmother was French on my father's side. On my mother's side, my grandfather was from Lebanon and my grandmother was from Spain. So I'm very mixed race. We have dark-skinned people in my family. We have blonde-skinned people in my family. My grandmother gave birth to 13 children. 6 of them were blonde, blue eyes, or green eyes, and the other ones were darker skin tone, and the eyes, and stuff like that. So it happens because my grandmother was blonde, blue-eyed, and my grandfather was your typical dark Lebanese guy, like brown, like really brown, not black, but brown. You know what I mean, Latino, but not Latino, Lebanese. When you see these men Lebanese, that's my grandfather, So it was always a curiosity when the children were born, because they didn't know if it was going to look like my grandmother's side or my grandfather's side of the family. It was a very normal conversation to have. Nothing racist about it. The reason why I bring this up is because I have my genes. You can see what I look like, right? So when I got married and I was pregnant with my child, I remember my friends making bets, whether Hendrik was going to look like Casper the Friendly Ghost, because my ex-husband, Hendrik's father, he's totally Scandinavian. I mean, his eyebrows, his eyelashes, his hair is completely almost white. Like when you think Norwegian and Scandinavian, that's my ex-husband, So we were having bets as to, I knew the sex of Hendrik, because at 3 months I wanted a girl, but I wanted, so I found out that it was a boy. So we were making bets. Me and my friends, we were making bets who's going to look like, if it was going to look like me, or if it was going to look like his dad, and they were all teasing me, Hendrik's not going to have any eyebrows, It was a huge relief when my son was born and I saw that he had dark eyebrows, because I was, oh my God, he's not Casper the Friendly Ghost. Those are very normal conversations to have with your family members. I'm pretty sure that Prince William and Prince Charles had the conversation about when Prince Harry and Prince William were born, when Princess Diana was born, who the kid, if he's going to take the Spencer side of the family or the Windsor side of the family. In fact, I believe that Prince Charles famously said a comment that that Harry was born a red hair, just like a Spencer, you know, making comment to his appearance. However, fantastically, Meghan turned that normal conversation into a non-existent and false racial slur. I'm pretty sure that when her mother was pregnant with her and Thomas Markle, they were wondering who she was going to look like, if she was going to take after the black side of the family or the white side of the family. Those are normal conversations to wonder and inquire about. So that is slander that Meghan Markle and Harry, who's stupid enough to have conveyed the comments that were probably harmless and normal. You know, I don't know, for example, if he had married a completely non-mixed woman, and, you know, people would have been wondering if the boy was going to be born a ginger. You know what I mean? For example, if he had married Chelsea Davies, too bad he didn't. Can you imagine? I mean, the conversation would have been, can you wonder if he was going to be a ginger like his dad? Those are normal conversations, which are being used as racial slurs. That I find appalling. That she uses the security point of view as reason not to remove Harry's titles. That is not the case. The royal family, they are over, because he's in direct line of succession, all of the descendants, all of the family members of Queen Elizabeth are in succession line to the throne. Is the UK supposed to pay for everybody? No. Now, what I'm going to say, this is very much my opinion. It has also surfaced that they were married 3 days prior to the actual wedding, and she dismisses and now brands the wedding as a spectacle in a very despective manner. A wedding which, had it not been given to her, she would have accused the UK of being racist by not granting her the wedding that she wanted, to the point that it costs a lot more than Princess William's wedding. What I'm about to say is my firm belief that the reason why she urged Harry to marry her in secret 3 days prior to the actual date was because probably, number one, the royal family had gotten wind of everything she was doing about bullying her father and setting her own father up. Second, because the royal family, caring and concerning about family, may have suggested postponing the royal wedding until Mr. Markle was recovered and was able to walk his daughter down the aisle. So I believe that Meghan forced their hands, saying, listen, I believe that this is why Meghan married Prince Harry 3 days prior, because she was concerned that if she had to postpone, there was nothing they could do because she was married to Harry by then. So either way, she was married, whether there was a big wedding or not. So she was forcing their hand. I am married no matter what. This to me, you know, I don't mind, but there's a couple of things that are very, people don't understand that. I see a lot of people getting lost in this. That what she did, I wonder two things. Whether the Bishop of Canterbury told Her Majesty the Queen that they had gotten married. Two, why, if the palace had been told and the Queen had been told, why didn't they announce it to the people? Because he is in the succession line to the throne, as he keeps mentioning, very much so. And yet, so that the day that they got married, in which is registered as per in the registry when they got married, that is fraud. That is fraud. So we need to see the marriage certificate, because if the marriage certificate that they introduced for the marriage, because at the end of the day, there has to be a marriage certificate for the ceremony to be for the marriage to be valid. The church is just a ceremony. But if the wedding certificate is not on the date that they said it was, then that is fraud. So the actual marriage certificate has to be there. Also, I believe that for a marriage certificate or to get married, even on the civil registry, I think you need a witness or something like that. So I wonder who was their witness. I think, I'm pretty sure you need a witness or somebody to next to there, or I may be wrong. So if you can fact check me on that. So we need to know, because if the Bishop of Canterbury signed a wedding certificate, a marriage certificate 3 days prior, which one is valid? So one of those is fraud. And third, why didn't the royal family tell the public? That in itself is appalling. So that's something to look at. Now the lies, I'm going to answer directly to the sugars. Those two are slander, because Meghan Markle is trying to abuse the race card and discrimination in gender abuse to blackmail the royal family into giving her a title and her kids. No. Your Majesty, I urge you the following. Equality is the greatest gift for everybody. I am a woman of mixed race. Not only black people suffer racism. Hopefully my story will come out pretty soon, very shortly, and you'll know who I am. But racism is not only at the hands, only black people don't suffer racism. All races suffer racism. Most races, even white people, are discriminated against with affirmative action. So I ask you to show the usual strength of character that you have shown throughout this 70 years of reign, I think, and not buckle nor concede to this terrible blackmail by a little rat from the sewage, just to secure what I've said before, a status and financial security. Show her that anybody, no matter who you are, your background, your race, your culture, that if you commit a crime, if you are a liar and a blackmailer, you pay the consequences. I urge you. They're claiming that because Harry's sixth in line to the throne, that puts him in danger. You see, for his own safety, remove him from the line of succession. Then he becomes less in importance. Remove him from the line of succession for his own safety and that of his children and family. This is a 35-year-old man who went, or 36, to say that he wants to be supported by his parents. He bought himself a house with money he doesn't have. Why did he need to buy a 14 million pound house? Why? If he only has 10 million pounds or something like that, buy yourself a 1 million pound house. Why do you need to buy a house that you can't afford? Why are you embarrassing yourself? Selling, this is going to be reality, cheap. Everybody's is up for grabs. So show her, Your Majesty, I urge you, I am one of your biggest fans, I think, that Meghan Markle do not fall prey to blackmail. And I ask the press not to turn the conversation away from racism and start calling her on her with her character flaws. Because one thing I can guarantee you is that Oprah added another half hour, because when all these allegations of her bullying came out, she had to re-edit it again and add more stuff, and she switched it around. Lies. She had use of her passport. She flew all over the goddamn world. She flew for a $500K private jet to a baby shower. She flew to Ibiza, Amsterdam, Scandinavia, Paris, Barbados, 4 times to the US to meet with her PR firms, without a passport. Lies. Her son doesn't have a title because of racism. Lie. Her son doesn't have a title because in 1917 a letters patent says that great-grandchildren of the living monarch do not have titles. Cannot be princess. And they did this because everybody was being princess under Queen Victoria. Everybody says, wait a minute. So King George, because of World War and because everything was poor, he didn't want to add an additional tax burden. And, so that's another lie. Lies that she didn't have control of the press. Clearly she did, because she had complete control, because she refused to give a picture because she did not get her way. She hired her own American staff, which, by the way, they all left after a while because she was such a bully. I asked Piers Morgan, whose outrage is legitimate, like most of us, not to succumb to her narrative. Instead, call her out. Don't mention race. Forget about it. Don't mention race. Talk about her character flaws, and let's concentrate on the accusations, because what she's saying is the following. If you accuse me of bullying, you are a racist. If you call me out on the lies I say, you are a racist. If you don't give me the financial things that I want, you're a racist. If you don't give me the titles I want to be of higher status, you're a racist. And one important question I will leave you with. She said that she lost her father. The last time I checked, poor Mr. Markle was still alive, living in Rosarito or something like that, as far as I'm aware. She hasn't lost her father. She stopped talking to him. She bullied him. She tarnished his reputation and continues to do so till today. Anyways, I'm sorry this was a longer video, but what do you think? Leave me your comments.